Hello boys and girls, I've decided not to do any homework today and I've got a whole pile of grading to do, and I decided to actually do some bit of an explanation from Steve of Corsair Trainers about why me and Uncle Al from Die Bullfrog 79 have been rambling on about number 6 and about him being number 6. And I think it's an important actual discussion because a lot of what was done in the past has been forgotten or plagiarized and altered by now, and so the actual meanings and what was actually going on is really, really important. Anyway, I want to share The Prisoner, the original series. Watch the original series. It's widely available on YouTube, believe it or not, and it actually is brilliant. And also put a link in the description if you want to buy the Blu-ray version. Though Blu-ray I think is dying and everything's going to be digitalized and we're going to rent everything and own nothing. Which again directly links me to The Prisoner. So like, spoilers, eh? So in the 1967 series, number 6, played by the amazing Patrick McGoohan, actually resigns from the Secret Service. And we don't see why or whatever, but it's very strongly suggested it's the British Secret Service and we don't know why he's resigned. And the whole plot stems from that action. He is retired by the Secret Service and he is then gassed and taken to Wales, Portmeirion, though it's never specified it is Portmeirion. An amazing place to visit if you can ever go there, fantastic, and you'll see the imagery all the way through The Prisoner. But having got there, he is labelled as number 6 and he fights for the whole 17 episodes against being a number. And number 2 actually wants him to say why he's resigned. It's the key thing. They want the information he has about what made him resign. So, good old Uncle Al.
Hi, I'm Uncle Al. Everybody recognize the big top hat?
Being Uncle Al, accuses me of being number 2. Number 2 in the series was played by a whole host of actors and actresses, and you'll see some of them as we talk about it. But the basic idea of number 2 is in charge of number 6, and number 2's only purpose is to find out why number 6 resigned and to inform number 1, I guess. Very, very interesting series, lots of late 1960s imagery. Bad robots in it are called rovers, and they're literally huge white balls that bounce around the sea and the land and do terrible things to people, though very, very odd in our terms, and the whole thing is very strange. So basically over the arc of the 17 episodes, so that's it, number 6 becomes very influential in the village, which is Portmeirion, and number 2 is worried about him and number 1's worried about him, and anyway there's a huge finale which is very interesting, and I'll show some bits from that.
I feel
How far will you refuse to cooperate with people who are holding you prisoner? How far will you cooperate with people that will drug you and do anything to get the information from you? Number 6, as Die Bullfrog 79 says, is actually, he believes, Steve from Corsair Trainers. Now let's really have a little look at this.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Got it in the right order. I'm Steve from Corsair Trainers.
Well, like I said, Steve Corsair Trainers has a slight passing resemblance to Patrick McGoohan, but he's also worked for the government and he also resigned. So I think that's where Die Bullfrog kind of got the idea from. But the interesting one is also what the heck is going on. Like, I'm being accused of being number 2 by Die Bullfrog 79, and that's an actual interesting thing because Die Bullfrog 79 is quite right-wing in his politics. He's very independent. Doesn't, I believe, like big government, Though I'm pretty sure like everybody who claims that, he wants healthcare, and he wants roads, and he wants water, and he wants social security, because, you know, we're all not exactly what we say we are. But he accused me of number two, because number two is collectivism. It is socialism. The village is run on collectivist lines. You're told what to eat, what to drink, when to socialise, how to entertain. Everything is is scripted by a unknown number one, using number two to actually influence what's going on. So I represent that socialism, aggression, control from the government that's throughout this series. And number six, which would be Steve from Corsair Trainers, represents the man who was part of that collectivism, that social system, by his work, as are we all, and he has now retired from that. And he is now in danger of being spirited away because the socialist collective cannot stand unknown information by resignation from its employees. So they want to know why. So I kind of think that's where Die Bullfrog 79 came from with this. But me and him have been kidding about The Prisoner for a long time online, and I absolutely do recommend the TV series, the original 1967 one, not the new one. I've never seen the new one. I never will see the new one. Let's be honest here. Some things really should never be redone or rebooted. Battlestar Galactica absolutely was a great reboot. Maybe The Prisoner is. Maybe one day I'll watch it. But for me, growing up as a child watching The Prisoner on TV, it was massively influential. It really did bring in the forces that were going on at the end of the 60s. The individual spirit of free will that collectively made the hippies look like non-independent, actually army of independence. The extreme colours and the dress and all the rest of it, and the affectations actually made them not as individual as they thought they were. And The Prisoner says that there's a shadow government that's all-powerful, that can do whatever it likes, whenever it likes, without any fear of repercussions, and it controls all knowledge and it controls all movement when it chooses to do so. And the arc of the journey goes on for the 17 episodes, and each episode is a standalone episode in reality, but I would try and watch them in order. They have been put on TV out of order quite a few times. I don't know why people do that, but they do. But it's really interesting. The power of the collective when aimed at the individual is overwhelming, and the only thing the individual can do is to refuse to cooperate, no matter what the cost is. And by refusing to cooperate, perhaps the rest of the collective will also start to refuse to cooperate. However, this is what happens in the series, and what happens at the end of the series I will not reveal, but it was really shocking at the time, and it still is now. It is for those people out there who are adherents to Agenda 21. Now let's face it, if there was a world government that wanted to kick off a mass reduction in human population to save themselves, why are they waiting? Truthfully, there is nobody in charge. But the point of this is, how would you feel, those Agenda 21 independent Die Bullfrog 79 types, if it was revealed to you that you are the shadow government? Well, that's it from me. I absolutely do recommend The Prisoner, the original, and I'm actually going to put up a big trailer for it from a company that's selling the Blu-ray. I'm not getting any money, I'm not getting any Blu-rays, I'm not getting any discounts. Just to let you have a real good strong sense of what The Prisoner was, and in fact still is. The lessons from The Prisoner are still there, and it's very, very important. And no, I don't think Steve from Corsair Trainers is number 6, Die Bullfrog 79. I think you might be number 1. So that's it from me. I do have a film recommendation from 2019. I watched it last night with Kitty. Very disturbing, very funny, very thought-provoking film, and that is The Dead Don't Die. It is a comedy, but it's really disturbing, and the themes of commercialism and capitalism that it captures, very subversive. Not as subversive as The Fight Club, but well worth a watch if you get a chance to. So anyway, toodles! This video is brought to you by Bad Terrier Productions 2019.